Falling Waters 50K Ultra, finished first overall in 4 hours, 59 minutes, and 22 seconds, I think is what it was. I forget what exactly, yeah, 22 seconds, .62. Back-to-back wins, bringing the hardware back to PA. This is the awesome trophy that I got. A little slower than last year, just by like 3 minutes. Last year I think I was 4:56, but I tripped and fell last year, and it was super hot, so I did struggle a little bit last year. You'll have to listen to the recap from last year as well to compare. This year it's a little bit different, but did have a rough go of it the second lap of the day. It's 2 laps of 15 miles. I really enjoy this race. I think the race directors, organizers, volunteers and stuff are pretty good. Very nice people from what I've seen of them, talked to them. So I'm happy that I came back, but it is like a 4-hour drive down here. So it is kind of long for me, but whatever. I came and did it. And as I said, bringing the hardware back, and that was my goal. Stayed overnight, I think, in Mount Hope, which was like a 25-minute drive this morning. Yeah, to the place. So even though I drove 4 hours, still had to drive another 25 because there's really nothing close, and I wasn't camping out. You can camp out there. It's at the Ace's Adventure Resort on that like Beckley, Mount Hope area. I'm not sure which town it actually is, but whatever. You can camp out there if you want, but I'm not a camper, so I just stay in a hotel. Had to get some Wendy's last night. I think I got a good solid 6 hours of sleep. A little more than normal for races, so I was probably a little bit more rejuvenated, but I also felt good in general. I'll just give you the quick rundown of what I did this morning. Well, last night, yeah, like I said, I got probably about 6 hours, which is abnormal for me, even though I did toss and turn a little bit. I think just because of the noise in the hotel. There wasn't much, but there was a couple like thuds or something like that that did make me rustle a little bit. I had a peanut butter jelly sandwich this morning before I left. And then on the way to the race, I had one of those 6-pack of crackers and a Nugo bar. Did take my beet powder this morning and baking powder or soda, whatever. So, you know, baking powder and beet powder really helped me this morning, you know, keep the acid out of my body while, you know, helping me run faster, longer. And I definitely felt it, at least early on. Yeah, but I actually took one of my gallons of green tea down, my Arizona green tea, to drink. So I wasn't drinking some shitty stuff last night. Then, let me see what else. I put salty britches on my feet, which worked awesome today. I can't tell you how awesome that was today, because I knew my feet were going to get wet, because you have a stream, creek crossing, whatever. Because the course was going to be wet, and I knew it was going to rain at some point, so I needed my feet to stay dry, and salty britches definitely helped my feet stay in good shape during the whole race, even when the creek crossing a couple of times and stuff like that in the mud. I felt like my feet didn't get as beat up today as they would have if I didn't wear it. Definitely lubed up my nuts pretty good with my Gold Bond. I did put a couple pieces of generic Walmart like KT tape stuff around my stomach, like the lower back part where my waist belt has been rubbing me a little bit. That really helped. And I put 2 pieces on my Achilles, like down below by my ankle, because I got some blisters on there the other day. Normally I'd put Band-Aids, like those bigger like 2x4 thicker band-aids on them, but with it being wet, I figured they were just gonna come right off. That's why I used that generic Walmart KT tape. Hey, it works. So why not buy the cheaper stuff? Wore my Under Armour Iso Chill compression shorts, my yellow mesh top, took my Ultra Spire 3.0 Speed Goat waist belt with 220s, threw a couple wet wipes in there, some gels. I actually used gels today. Wore my MP3 player, I think calf sleeves, my Oil Creek socks, and then my Saucony Cohesion TR shoes. Yes, I love those shoes. I know they're the lower end of Saucony's shoe line, but you know what? They're not aggressive like the Peregrines, and they work so much better on trails than the Peregrines do, that are just more aggressive than anything. So I did wear that. Oh yeah, here's my cup as well. I got a cool cup. Then there's the medal. I don't know where the t-shirt's here somewhere, but it's got the same logo, and you get a sticker as well. So yeah, got there probably a half an hour before the race start, give or take. Yeah, I signed in this morning. Well, got my bib this morning, signed in this morning because I wasn't making it last night after work before registration closed at like 7, because I worked till 2. Went home and actually took like a half an hour nap before I even packed last night to come down. So I don't even think I left until close to 4 yesterday in that 4-hour drive. So I didn't get really into the hotel till 9, and then probably didn't go to bed till like 11. Got up at 5:30, I think. Yeah, 5:30 is when I got up. Oh, my nippies. I wore my nippies today. Thank God for nippies. I thought I forgot them last night. I was going to ask for some band-aids this morning, but luckily I had some in my traveling backpack. So very happy about that. And some of the decisions I made coming. I did bring my hydration pack as well, another pair of shoes. And again, I was wearing my waist belt. I wasn't sure what exactly the weather was going to be like this morning, because it kept changing. If it was going to be rainy all morning, I was going to take my waist belt, or my waist pack, my Nathan, so I could take my poles. But I did, yeah, so I did bring my poles and stuff. So I left my bag of supplies at the finish line area, because there's a big pavilion there that everybody's like, since it's a loop race, that you can come in and change and do whatever you want. So that was sort of my plan, you know, if I needed a gear change and shit like that during the race. Oh, I'm coughing a little bit, throat's a little dry. So yeah, I was trying to play it smart because I really wanted to win this race and piss people off, I'm not gonna lie. But I also enjoy this race as well. It's a lot harder than whatever else was going on in the PA today. It's harder, more well organized, it's more fun. The trophy, well, I do like the trophy. Last year I loved my trophy. I don't know what the trophies look like, but whatever. So yeah, wanted to come back and just try to see if I can't take it again. There's like 40-50 people from PA that come down to do this race. It's got a really nice following from PA. So yeah, of course it's also part of their triple trifecta of races, like the Cabin Fever 50K, Fallen Waters 100K, and their Rim the Rim 100. So if you do all three, that's sort of like trifecta. It's like the PA Triple Crown type thing, but West Virginia style. I only did the 50K because I'm not in the trifecta this year. Maybe next year, who knows? That would just be a big commitment, but we'll see. Anyway, there's tons of parking. Like they could have 1,000 people up there for the race, and there'd still be plenty of parking. This Aces Adventure Resort place is huge. There's all kinds of stuff to do there. It would be nice to spend like a whole week there if I could afford it, and just visit and do some of the other stuff, or just explore some more of the trails that they have, slash go into like some national state parks or whatever. I don't know if it's national or just state. Either way, whatever, there's more parks that like the race connects to. So it's kind of nice. So when I got to the race this morning, I checked in, got ready. I didn't use the bathrooms near the pavilion thing that we used. I went over because there were some other ones. They might have built these within the last year, because I see them building some more. But there was like a set of like 8 or 10 more bathrooms, like where I parked at, like another road down. So I snuck into there real quick because everybody else was in line. I was like, over there's no line. I was like, work smarter, not harder type deal. So I went over there, used that bathroom. That's where I showered as well later on. Then when I came back, I actually drank one of those Coca-Cola Celsiuses. Get blood flowing this morning and make sure I'm awake. Just like a couple minutes before the race started is when I drank that. I wouldn't say I was behind, but I wasn't in a hurry to, whatever. I got to the start line with about a minute before we started. I really didn't stretch or warm up because I figured it's a 50K. Do my warming up first couple miles. The stream crossing, creek crossing, whatever you want to call it, was kind of up in the air depending on the rain. But he said this morning we could. It was open. He did put a rope for us to use, but it still really wasn't that high. But if we got the rain that we were supposed to, it would have been. It was still maybe calf level high. I mean, unless you went into like the deep spot, or ankle. I mean, it was ankle to calf, depending on where you stood. I knew coming in my chances were 50-50. There was only like, say, maybe 5 or 6 people that, if I didn't have my A game, that would take it from me. So I liked my chances, but I didn't want to be cocky because I haven't really ran a 50K in I don't even know how many months, since September. So what, 6+ months. I'm sort of out of shape. I've only ran like 21 miles a couple times this year. Nothing over that yet. So I wasn't sure what to expect after mile 20. And then I did like some hill repeats of 2,000 feet a gain the other day, which probably wasn't smart 3 days ago. Yeah, but you know me, not necessarily the smartest runner in training. Now race day, I'll give myself more credit than that. I'm probably one of the smartest runners. I want to just say in the United States. I might not be the most skilled, definitely not the fastest, but like I run smart and I know what to do, when to do it. So I will put that feather in my hat that I'm one of the smartest runners. Even though I do some dumb shit, but I know what, when to pull back, when to attack, strategy wise and stuff like that. So whatever. So as we started, there was like 5 or 6 people that just like took off, and I am like, what the fuck is this? I wasn't expecting that. I was like, maybe they're just relays or 100Ks or just people want to take off. And I'm just like, that's dumb. This is dumb. I was like, I am not getting caught up in this, but I sort of did. They were dropping like 5:30 the first couple of tenths, which is like a gravel road to start, which is nice because it sort of spreads you out a little bit. But I was just like, why do you guys have to run like assholes off the start? Like, I'm just thinking that in the back of my head. I had no idea who these people were. I talked to a few of them later and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh man. I was like, so we're gonna play this game today. Because I set a pace pro up for 4:45 today, which was an overall pace of like 9:10, 9:11, I think, maybe 9:20, somewhere, I don't know. I think it was like 9:11. So I set it up for faster than last year's finish because I thought I left a lot of time out there last year in knowing the course. And I wasn't planning on taking as many pictures or clips this year. And I was hoping not to trip this year and hurt my toe. Because last year I had a big ass blister. So I was hoping not to do that. It slowed me down. So I was like, with all that taken into consideration, I was like, 4:45 sounds pretty good. But if I get like 5 hours or 5:05, I'd be happy with that as well. With how things have gone and how little I've actually trained in trails or on trails and elevation this winter spring area time frame. Damn it, my damn throat. My Burger King Hershey's chocolate milkshake. Anyway, so you know, maybe a half mile in, out of the 5 or 6 people, I think it was 5. 2 guys, I passed them up. And there was like there was 2 guy relayers in front of me. And then one woman that was in the 50K. I was like, all right, so now I don't have as much pressure on me since I know what these people are running. Just do my thing, stay within my pace. Because I really didn't think, not to be cocky, I was like, when I was scouting and looking at times, I was like, if I stay at a 4:45, I was like, if somebody could beat that, more power to them. But I know that's out of my realm of possibility. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that, anything lower than that. So it was one of those things. If you know it happens and I lose and do it at 4:45, whatever. Me and the first place female, we were talking for a while. She actually finished 2 or 3 minutes behind me, so it was pretty close. Glad I didn't take it easy that last like couple miles that were more flat. She would have got me. Really nice person as well. It was fun talking to her for like about a mile when we ran together before I took off. Because I was grooving when that Celsius kicked in and that caffeine. I was just like, all right, gotta go. Let's see. I don't know. It's hard to explain. The first couple miles really aren't bad. It's more. I mean, there's some incline and decline, but it's not really horrible. It's not really technical. It's not easy as well, like bigger gravel and you know stuff like that. A little muddy, but nothing bad. And then there's the one they call it the chute. I think it's a chute. That's the big incline, but there's another one. It's like the downhill version of it. It sucks. That's about mile 5.5-ish. It's right after the aid station, so like I think it's 5.5 is the aid station, so it's right after that. I did take my time on that because it's a little technical going down, and I didn't want to slip on rocks early on. But before that, between we'll say like mile 3 and 5.5, it was a good little mix. Can't really remember. There might have been like an access road that we ran on for 3 or 4 tenths. And some switchbacks. But I was really putting it on, you know, trying to bank some time. I did have my Pace Pro for positive splits and easy effort uphills. So I was playing it smart. Trying to think here. So we did the chute, and after the chute it gets a little bit level for a little bit, a little up and down, whatever. But I know in this section is where I tripped last year, so I was like, no clips, no pictures, even though I might have did a quick one. And I was like, just watch your footing in this section, because I know one sniper got you last year, so don't do it again. And then that first right-hand turn where I got lost last year, I made sure to be cognizant of that. They did have some more signs there this year, like blocking it off. Like if you kept going straight, you had to make a right-hand turn, which is a quick, it's basically it folds back onto itself as it goes up into this rocky section. But I know last year I lost a good half mile going straight, me and top like 3 or 4 other guys. We all like ended up going straight. I think there was 3 of them, or 4 of us total. Yeah, the 3 guys ahead of me, and the 2 were in 100K, and I think the 1 was a relay. We all screwed that shit up. So I made sure to look for that turn, and I also had my navigation on the first lap, so I remembered where the turns were, and I made things easier if I needed it. I really didn't need it today. It just, navigation in my mind and body just sort of took over. And then the flagging, you know, I know what to look for more. And just the trails are on trails. It's not like we're beat feeding through the forest and unworn trails. So I just had to just make sure I was paying attention, I guess. But there is that first, like I said, where we take that sharp right up the hill. There's a couple overlooks there. Wish I could have stopped and looked, but didn't have the luxury to do that. But I did move into second place by then. 1 relayer in front of me, 1 behind me, and the 50K first place female was behind me. But I'm going to call him the green shirt guy for the 50K. He was a minute-ish behind me, but I didn't care about him. I never saw the gray shirt guy after mile, we'll say 2 to about 9. Let's see. So yeah, uphill, a couple switchbacks, and then we started on the downhill section, like along the creek bed / waterfall area for a couple miles. It wasn't bad the first lap. I was running pretty good. You know, last year I took a couple pictures of the waterfalls and stuff like that. This year I didn't. I might have taken a couple on the second lap, but not on the first lap, just trying to bank that time. Just trying to stay ahead of my Pace Pro plan and run as smooth as possible in that first. But I had 2 20s on me, 1 with water, 1 with noon. So I didn't have to stop at 5.5 or the 10. 10 or 10 and a half, whatever it is, on the first lap. Because you know how I conserve and really don't need much the first lap, hydration wise, even though I probably should have drank more the first lap. Probably put me behind, but whatever. I did take 1 gel, 7.5-ish. I took one of those Ackerberry honey stingers that I won from one of Joella's races. Which one was that? Shit. Might have been our Christmas one. I don't know. I can't remember which one it was, but she gave me like a whole box for winning something. So I've been using them up pretty good. I actually like them. Not that I'm a big Ackerberry person, but they seem, you know, keep me energized a little bit. They don't have, I don't think they have caffeine, but whatever. I did have a couple of those in my pack, and a vanilla bean GU with like 100 milligrams of caffeine. I really didn't want to use GU because it usually gives me shits. Anyway, so I'm running on the creek bed. You know, we did some of the little bridges and stuff like that. Took my time. Well, I didn't take my time, but like on the bridges, I took my time. I did feel a little hot all morning. It did feel a little humid. just probably with the moisture in the air. We'll just say 55 to 62 degrees all day. But it just felt muggy or humid, however you want to explain it. I don't know, maybe it was just my mission hat or my body core, because since my shirt and stuff was wet with the rain, from the rain, maybe it was just making my body heat up a little bit more, work a little bit harder to keep the core temp. Because again, it rained last night. It rained actually right before we started the race. Like when I got there, it wasn't raining, but then we'll say like 10 minutes before the race, like up to that 2 minutes where I came out from underneath the pavilion, it was raining. And then it started raining. I don't even know what mile it started raining again. But it started sprinkling just a little bit during the first lap. So I automatically thought that the second lap was gonna suck ass, which proved to be true. Yeah, so we did that, did the waterfall part. Then there's like a couple tenths of flatness that I just booked it on. I was like, time to bank some time. Again, after I did splash water on myself, I took my hat off and dipped it in. That's why I love my mission hat, because it's a quick little bucket thing. So I splashed myself probably like 3 or 4 times just to, you know, get that cold chill over my whole body and hopefully cool me down a little bit and to stay wet. I didn't know the rain was coming. Then we crossed like another bridge, and it's a little flat for another half mile or so ish. We're gonna call it flat-ish. Then as we go up to that second water stop, which is just right up a little incline, there's like some bathrooms right there. Another 3-ish, maybe 2 to 3 tenths before you actually hit the chute or the climb. I think it's the chute's what they call it. Damn it. Now that I can't remember. We'll just call it the chute or the scramble. Might be the scramble. Damn it. Either way, whatever. It's a very rocky section. You can't run up at all. It's bouldery. So yeah, that takes a minute or 2 off your time. I think at the most I had was like 5 or 6 minutes under my Pace Pro, which was perfectly fine in that first lap, because as the race goes on, each lap, the pace I needed to put down was going to be higher. So we'll just say like 8 minutes the first lap or the first mile, and then by the 25th lap I might have had to put down like a 9.5, 9:40 or something like that. So like that time just keeps rising as the race goes on that I need to stay under. So it's a good thing to have those positive splits, not negative. I don't run negative. Screw that negative shit. That means you're leaving time out there. Anyway, so I did the chute, and then from there it's like a good mile or so of incline. That takes you to about mile 11 and a half. Then you go around a couple ponds or something like that for a mile or so. Up and down in that area. There's a couple switchbacks, then there's some inclines. I don't know how you do it, but I think there's a couple, yeah, there's like 2 ponds or something that you go around. Like you sort of encompass them, like view them, I guess. And then you're going uphill a little bit more, because you're still in a negative incline at that point. So far, like to that point, mile 12, you have more decline than incline, so you're gaining it back. Slowly but surely, but you can definitely feel it. Let's see. Yeah, so I get through all that little pine tree area. There's like a mile of nice runnable gravel rocky trail that beat feet it through. Then there's a grassy section in which I really threw it down there, because I was like, right now for this next 3 or 4 tenths, yeah, I think that's all it is. Well, there's a little gravel road in the grassy section. Now's the time to bank and push a little bit harder in this easy section, so I did that. That was like probably 13, yeah, we're gonna call it 13-ish. And then at 14, roughly, you got more like dirt, single track, some rocks and stuff like that. And then not the last mile, we'll say the last 3 to 4 tenths first, well, each lap is like gravel as you're going around the road to the top, whatever the Aces Resort top, like mountaintop campground section, because there's different campgrounds. So this is like the mountaintop campground, so you're circling around like how you come in and park or to leave, and come in across the mats for your first lap. So I really didn't eat anything the first lap except that one Acaberry gel, so I was behind a little bit, but I really didn't care because I wasn't hungry, and I'm not really eating a lot when I'm in training doing 15 miles. And I just kept thinking to myself, it's like, all right, so what do I need basically after mile 6 or 7? What do I want to change out when I come into the aid station / start and finish line, you know, for each lap? For some reason, I didn't put another Celsius in my bag or fit aid in anything, which was dumb, but I really wasn't expecting to want it or need it. Still dumb. Yes, I said I was smart earlier. This is one of those dumb things that, even though I still didn't take into consideration, just because I really wasn't expecting to need it, because I normally would not have wanted it, but I did today, just to give myself a little bit of boost. So I did do that. So I had to go to my car real quick, which is 40 yards or 50 yards from the mat, so or the pavilion or whatever. So I did waste probably a minute or two. I don't even know if it was 2 minutes. Whatever, between a minute and 2, going to my car, getting my Celsius and running back. Drank it real quick. Grabbed another gel, another tablet of Noon. I took Noon caffeinated today. Then I went over to the aid station area with I needed a baggie out of my bag as well. I looked at my poles and I was like, you probably should take them, but I was like, I don't know how bad it actually got. But I did grab some gummy bears. There was some olives in my bag, 2 pieces of peanut butter jelly sandwich. We'll basically say they were cut in like thirds or fourths. I took about a half one. When I was off, I filled my bottles back up there. Because I did try to drink both bottles by the time I got back, so I was trying to fuel properly. And then the second lap, I was just like, all right, so I'll just use the 2 water stops this lap and drink a lot more liquids and try to eat some of this stuff just to try to stay ahead or on top, ahead of things, which I did. Well, whatever, I did fill my bottles up at both 5.5 and we'll say 10 or 10.5, whatever it is, as I passed them on the second loop. I was just drinking more because I obviously wasn't eating enough food, or didn't eat enough food. I really didn't eat what I grabbed at the aid station. I ate 1 piece of the peanut butter jelly sandwich. Tried to eat another piece later on, but I took a bite and I was just like, ate a couple of the gummy worms, maybe a couple of the olives, but I didn't. Only ate them that first like 2 or 3 miles in on that second lap. I did eat a couple gummy bears or worms, whatever, a couple of different times on that second loop. I'm not sure exactly when. And I also, let's see, did I take 2 gels? I think I took 2 gels as well on the second lap. One was the Acaberry, and then I wanted the vanilla bean. Say somewhere around 11 or 12 miles into the second lap, I took it, give me a little boost of caffeine, because I was hungry and I wasn't really feeling it. I know that whatever electrolyte stuff that they had, nothing against the company, I just never had it before, and I don't know if it was because I was running on such low caloric intake that it was making my stomach turn. But every time I would drink it, until like the last 4 miles, it would like make my stomach just instantly turn. So I'm thinking it was just because my stomach was so empty at the time, and just that splash of like sugar rush or whatever they have in this drink, it just made my stomach turn. Because I also think it was in that turn phase where my stomach is, going from what's in the stomach to like my fat / carb reserve. So I think I kept teetering on that as well, like when I was drinking that stuff. So it was making me sick. I know at least twice I stopped and gagged. Once was on the downhill, like the creek area, waterfall area, and then after the creek crossing, after that second bridge, while we're running flat before that second aid station, like in that area, I stopped. I was trying to just puke, but there was nothing in my stomach, so I couldn't puke. That sucked. That was very unexpected because I never had that before, and it happened to me just from drinking electrolytes. So I'm thinking it was just me teetering on that, stomach contents, the fat and that carb, storage use. Because again, with a couple miles left when I was drinking it, it didn't happen again. So I must have just been on that edge. The second lap was horrendous. I think roughly I came in at 2:14 on the first lap. We'll call it 15 miles. I might have just been slightly under by a couple tenths. Because I think once I started the second lap, maybe a tenth in, I think is when I hit 15, or when I crossed, somewhere between when I crossed the mats to go out to the second loop and like a tenth or two in is when my watch hit 15. I should have looked at the damn whatever overall time was when it dinged. For some reason, I just looked at what my mileage marker was like for 15. But according, like when I was looking at Garmin, I saw like an idle time or walk time where it was like pretty long. So it was in that 2:14 range. I want to say it was 2:20. I didn't look at my watch. For some reason, I think 2:20 is when I remember. So maybe I came in at 2:14, and by the time I left, it was 2:20. I don't know. Either way, whatever. So even if I did come in at 2:14, 2:20, I was still way ahead. So I only needed to put down, we'll say, like 2.5 hours, or 2 hours 40 minutes, to get under that 5 o'clock or 5 hour time frame, second lap. So I was like, that's easy, thinking in the back of my head. But quickly did I find out that second lap sucked. It just was so sloppy and so slick. because of the rain and then people running through it, and then the trail is just, I want to call them dangerous in anything, in any of the uphills or downhill inclines, whatever. It just got dangerous, and I was walking them all because you could just see people's shoe impressions, like how they slid like to the left, to the right, or even like if it's an uphill, you can see how they slid back. So I was like, ah, man. I was like, until somebody comes up and pressures you that you can visually see, it's in the 50K, be smart, don't take any risks, don't do nothing dumb. So that's what I tried to do, play it smart and not take any risks, because I didn't want to lose this race by doing something stupid, trying to go so hard in the second lap until I got pressured that I fell and got hurt, and then wouldn't be able to finish the race, or I lost the race because I fell being stupid without being pressured. So I was like, until then, absolutely zero risks beforehand. So like, I was not trying to run. Now, the first lap I was running everything, like the uphills, the declines and stuff like that. I was running them all. Plus I was also more energetic. See, I was doing that perfectly fine in the first lap. But then, like I said, you can just see people slipping, and the declines are on some of the switchbacks. You can just tell people were just wiping out, falling. And I did not want nothing to do with that whatsoever, even though I did fall like 3 times on the second lap. I'm gonna admit that. But yeah, like some of the downhills, like they didn't even have the steps and stuff. I was like trying to grab on the trees, or when I could later on around the ponds, step on the edges. I know you're not supposed to, but I was like, hey, I'm not falling and getting hurt today. So I was playing that fine line, just running the edges a little bit when I had to, especially on the inclines or the steeper declines. Like I said, every decline I was being very, very cautious. So my pace, we'll just say like my pace in the first lap would have averaged 8 minutes, maybe 8.5. The second lap, my pace was probably, I'd have to figure it out mathematically, but probably 12 to 15 minutes. Maybe not that high, maybe 11 to 13 or 14 overall. It definitely dropped 3 to 4 minutes second lap. I mean, you just couldn't run it. There's nothing wrong with the race or the race directors. It was just, you know, we got rain. It's out of everybody's hands, and everybody had to deal with it. It just got too slick, sloppy, and a little dangerous. Actually trying to be put down like a fast time. So again, being smart, told you, running smart. Until somebody came up and pressured me, I did not give a shit. So I managed to hold off the competition today. Like I said, first female overall actually came in 2 minutes, 3 minutes behind me. She was second finisher overall. She was from PA, so we brought the hardware for the 50K home. I actually challenged, I challenged her when we were that mile or so we ran together. I was like, hey, I challenge you to bring it home for the females in PA. You know, so I'm happy we both did that. So something cool to brag about. The 2 overall winners, male and female, were the 50K were from PA. Hey, brag a little bit when you can. Proud of our state. Let's see what else. Yeah, you know, almost puking and stuff like that, and slowing down, and then my legs getting a little bit tired since not having trained the distance in forever. Stuff like that. I did take a couple pictures. Just playing it smart in general. So, more details of the second lap. You know, a couple miles in, we'll say maybe 3 miles into the second lap. Well, maybe even a mile in. I was feeling a little gassy, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to shit. I was like, don't stop yet in the easier section. Wait until it gets a little bit harder. And probably about mile 3, I ducked in. We crossed the road. And then there's a couple other trails to, like, I want to say the trail goes a little bit to the right where we have to go, but there's like a trail straight ahead and one to the left. I quickly went into like the center one. There's like a steep bank, and I pooped real quick there. Felt good. It was a smart move. Again, running smart. Name of the day. Glad I have my wet wipes, because I knew I didn't want to pitch my ass the rest of the race, because it was just going to slow me down and be on my conscience. And afterwards, I felt so much better. Took one of those worries away from me, so I'm thankful I did that. One guy passed me because I was in first at that point. Overall, like out of everybody racing the 100K, 50K, the relays, I was first overall. I forgot to mention that what happened in a minute here. Anyway, so yeah, one guy passed me, and I asked him, I was like, hey, is there anybody in front of you? Because I couldn't see where I was pooping. He's like, no. I got some intel that I think 100K person or something came in like a minute or two after I left. Since this was the second lap, he would have known like if anybody was ahead of me. We ran together for a while, for a couple miles. I was pacing off of him because after pooping, my legs were a little bit stiff. And just in general, I was like, not running. He's keeping me in check without me telling him he was keeping me in check. He kept asking, do you want to go around? I'm like, I was like, I'm good. He just kept telling me I was rolling pretty good. I did pass him a couple times though during the lap. He passed me back up on some like around the creek stuff when I was starting to get sick. I just didn't have the energy to, keep up with him or pass him anymore till the end. But anyway, we'll say mile 9-ish, because I was in second place out of everybody, the relays, the 50K, the 100K, at like mile 9-ish. And then I saw that one guy who I didn't see since like a mile into the race. He's wearing a gray shirt. Here, he was wearing sandals, running sandals, and it failed. So he was sort of screwed at that point. Luckily, he got some tape or something later on. He just kept going like barefoot, I guess. But that's how I passed him around mile 9, right before the creek crossing. Maybe 2/10 before that is when I passed him. I mean, I had nothing on me, so I couldn't stop and try to help because I didn't have shit. But I did worry about him. I told a couple people what happened, the race director, because I saw him on course. And then when I came in after the first lap, I made sure to tell, I was like, hey, can somebody get a hold of the relay guy who was wearing, I explained it, he's wearing a gray shirt, he's wearing sandals. I was like, I don't know what's going to go on with him. I don't know if he's dropping or if he's walking. I don't want people to get worried about him. This is what's going on. So I, made sure somebody knew that his sandal fell. So if he's not in when he should be, that is why. Because there's really nobody on the course to tell anything like that. There was a photographer, and then, well, I guess the race director was on the course. I forget what mile, we'll say 11 maybe, when I saw him. But I did tell him there, but I didn't know if he was going to stay there for a while or what. So I'm trying to relay that message back to his teammates. Let's see what else. Yeah, so I had the guy that I was running with for a while. He was ahead of me. We'll say at like mile 10 after that aid station. Like it's a water drop. It's not an aid station. They use 2 water stops with water and that electrolyte stuff. It's unmanned because it's a coupleless race. So if you need food, you have to take it with you. Which 15 miles, how much do you really need to rely on a fully stocked aid station in the middle of nowhere? I mean, it would have been nice. It just means more manpower that has to be out there instead of water drops. So you just have to be responsible yourself. So yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think what else happened. I'm trying to keep. This is gonna be a long one, but whatever. It's a good race. So the guy, who passed me that I was running with, he was, I don't even know how many, he was a couple minutes ahead of me, at least to the chute. Then there was another guy in a green shirt who passed me on the chute as I came in. I took a picture because I wanted to take a picture of the chute or the scramble, whatever they call it. Wish I could remember right now. Anyway, the photographer actually moved from the one bridge she was taking pictures to the scramble and the chute, so we should have some cool pictures of that at some point. So yeah, ran with him for maybe a half mile before he took off. I guess that was his buddy that was ahead of him in the relay as well. Tried to get information out of him. I don't know. I don't think he really knew. He said the person behind me, or him or whatever, was a woman. And I was describing the 50K woman. He's like, oh, that sounds like her, but she said she's from PA and she's running with friends. I'm like, well, is she the relay or the 50K? And he's like, oh, she said running with friends. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean she's a relay. So I didn't know if I was first place female or not. Probably was. Since she finished like 2-3 minutes behind me and I didn't see any other people come in when no other females came in afterwards, at least probably for a half an hour that were in any of the other races. Yeah, I kept going, kept looking back just to make sure I didn't see her in view. I don't know if she ever saw me because I was wearing that bright neon yellow shirt. I kept looking back because I was like, if I see anybody like her or anybody else that I don't know is either doing a relay or a solo race, then I'm gonna have to take some chances and risk some stuff. Thankfully, didn't have that pressure on me today as I did last year. I think I passed like 5 or 6 people still on the first lap. They were just taking their time. I know I fell, I don't even know what mile it was. 11 and a half, 12 range. Maybe 11. 11 and a half. We're coming down a couple quick little switchbacks to this little creek bed. And as we're crossing, after I just splashed some water on myself, took a couple steps on the bank, and then my foot just went slipping. My left foot just went slipping out from underneath me, and it like hyperextended like in a baseball slide type of thing. I think my heel got caught on whatever I tripped on, or it hit something, and it just like hyperextended my calf, and I could just feel it just like get into that cramp stage. And I tell you what, my hand probably never moved so fast in my life, grabbing that calf and just squeezing it. Luckily, I held that cramp off, because if I would have cramped there, my race would have been done. There was no coming back from getting that like full-on set in at that point. So I'm very happy that I grabbed it so quick. Even though it tensed up, it never really got to set in, thank God. And it took me a couple seconds to recover, and then I started hobbling along again, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck the rest of the race. Thankfully, it did get a little better. But I still hobble a little bit. It's definitely still sore now. I can definitely feel it now, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass for a couple of days. Hopefully it's good for Pittsburgh Marathon next week. So I did do that. Yeah, I just kept going, not taking a risk, and like as the race progressed from, we'll say, mile 7 to 13, the conditions just seemed to get worse and worse. Just because the trails are more dirt, and they just became like pure slick shit mud. But I mean, it's a complaint, but what are you gonna do? And I was able to hold off competition, but I thought to myself while I'm running this, I was like, man, I really wish I would have brought my poles for this lap. Would have made things so much easier, and I could have ran faster, just because I would have had better footing. So that's another wish that I would have done, was taking my poles. But you don't know that until you get back on that second lap, because I really didn't think the conditions of the trail would have been that bad, but they were. I pity the 100K people and the relayers that are still out there, because it's just going to get tore up a hell of a lot more. And if I was out there right now, my ass would be packing poles the rest of the day, just so I don't slip and fall and get hurt. Even if it doesn't rain the rest of the day, or the next 16 hours that they have, whatever the case may be. I forget when the race is over. I think 100K's got 24 hours, I believe. 50K's got till 8 tonight. We started at 7. Whatever that case may be, I would not be out there right now without poles, and I'd be wanting poles if I didn't bring them. And I'd be grabbing some sticks out of the damn woods so I could actually get some better footing, especially on the declines, just to save my ass. Let's see, that might be about it. Maybe a little more. Probably about 3 miles left into the race. I caught back up to that relay guy I was running with. I didn't see the green shirt relay guy that passed me at the chute, but I caught up to the flannel shirt wearing guy, or flannel pattern guy. Like 3 miles left. Did we go back and forth a little bit? I don't know. When I caught him, I think I passed him, and then he was just like right behind me, or he might have passed me a couple of times. I don't know. Either way, come back up to him. He came in and finished, and got my cool ass award. Took a nice shower. Yeah, shower didn't feel as good. I think I got a shittier bathroom that I used. I think the other one the water was a little bit more sprayy. The one that was close to the pavilion last year when I used it. This one was, again, a little bit past my car, farther out from the pavilion. It had like 8 stalls, so it might not have had as much pressure, but the water's hot. But I did wash off, and I took a nice poop in there, and I didn't think it was gonna flush. I flushed it like 3 times, just because the water pressure didn't suck it down. It smelled bad, and I knew I had a poop because I farted a couple times when I was by my vehicle, you know, putting some of my stuff away and grabbing my clothes to go shower, and it was horrible. I would have not been able to make it home without pooping. Woo, I was dying. It was like a death poop smell. See, that was nice. I didn't eat anything at the race. Did drink my Fit Aid, drank some more of my green tea. I stopped at Burger King, probably 15 minutes away from the race. Got gas as well, so I don't have to stop the rest of the way. That's about it. That's where I got my Hershey's chocolate milkshake. I still got probably 2.5 hours at least, maybe 3, to get home. It's gonna be a rough one. I have to pull over a few times, but whatever. Got it done. Mission accomplished. I know it'll piss people off that I won again. hey, I'm very happy with how it went, with all things considered. Like I said, the way my training was, this winter/spring training cycle, you know, just being unmotivated, not working on hills as much, or getting the mileage that I wanted to. You know, I tried to bike a bunch, you know, 50 to 80 miles a week, supplement my running that I didn't want to do, but just being a lazy shit to begin with. I was hoping for the best, expecting the worst. You know, like, I was supposed to go to Boston Marathon last weekend, but financially I was like, it's stupid. And then with this race, Pittsburgh Marathon next weekend, which are my 2 A races for the year, I couldn't risk it, and I'm thankful I didn't go, because I would have been tired and beat down for this race, and I probably wouldn't have won unless it was dry. Maybe if it was dry, I could have pulled it off, but I don't think I would have had the legs to win today if I went to Boston. So smart again, bring it up to smartness, that I didn't go, and save some money. Kind of disappointed that I didn't go, but whatever. Might have to get a new phone after today, because the stupid SIM card and memory card weren't working right. There was water in there. Must have splashed water on myself without the Ziploc bag that I had it in closed, so I got moisture. So I'm probably gonna have to get a new phone. So whatever. Guess that's about it. But if you get a chance, check out the Falling Waters Ultra and the company that puts it on, because they, you know, they're friendly people and they're nice people, and the races are, you know, well organized, and they have flagging on the ground, and they do have a reflectiveness on those flagging on the ground. It's not as wasteful, if you know, as when you put flagging in the trees, and you can keep your eyes on the ground a lot more. I know some courses you do have to put flagging in the trees, just because, yeah, you just basically have to. If you know what I'm talking about. You know, some courses the conditions dictate they have to be in the trees, but it is wasteful. With this race, you know, having the flagging on the ground, and then like the reflective flagging as well. So like the people that are going to be doing 100K, they're going to be out there at night, which I'm assuming everybody's going to be out there at night this year. They're going to be able to see them if they can't remember the course already after a few laps. But yeah, I do like that. Like I said this about other races, like Murraysville Monster. I do like the flagging on the ground, because you can concentrate more where to run and your footing at the same time, if again conditions are conducive to do so. So alright, I guess that's it. That was kind of damn long, but I think I got all the details and I'm happy with it.